China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin are all set to meet in a few hours from now. They will be discussing the war in Ukraine, tensions in the Taiwan Strait, and other international and regional issues. The two leaders are in Uzbekistan at the meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the crucial bilateral will be on the sidelines of that summit. This is Xi Jinping's first overseas trip since the start of the pandemic and comes as he seeks a historic third term. The SCO summit, which kicked off earlier today, will see the gathering of leaders from all the heavyweights in Central Asia, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Kremlin has said that while Putin was set to meet other leaders, his meeting with Xi Jinping was of particular importance and occurring in the backdrop of large-scale political changes. Russia's relations with the West are at rock bottom. China's relations with the West also have soured recently, following tensions over self-ruled Taiwan, and the two leaders last met at the Winter Olympics in Beijing this year. Following that meeting, the two countries had said that the friendship between them had no limits. Russia invaded Ukraine days later. That was an action that China has neither condemned nor voiced support for. And since then, Moscow and Beijing have been actively strengthening ties. China is not part of the international sanctions against Russia. Trade between the two countries, in fact, has continued to grow, with Chinese imports of Russian oil soaring since the invasion. China and Russia have long sought to position the SCO that was founded in 2001 as an alternative to Western multilateral groups. For more on these developments, our principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibbal getting us this report. Take a look.
Uzbekistan's cultural capital Samarkand is all set to host the SCO summit. It will be hosting 14 world leaders, and the host, that means 15 world leaders, including the Russian President Vladimir Putin, the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, the Russian President Vladimir Putin see the entire grouping as a grouping that is full of friends, to use the word, given that it has close ties with China, with India, with Central Asian countries, and perhaps an alternative to the West, even as the West is keen on isolating and sanctioning Russian President Vladimir Putin in the backdrop of the Ukraine conflict. Now, we know that the Russian president is going to have a number of bilaterals with the Chinese President Xi Jinping, with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, so whole host of leaders. And while the West is keen on isolating President Putin will be keen on showing that he is embracing and engaging with Asian giants like China and India, and Moscow is not isolated. So clearly it's a shot in the arm for the Russian President Vladimir Putin when it comes to be present here in Samarkand, the cultural capital of Uzbekistan, but also send a message to the West of the fact that Russia remains a country which has influence, and countries do engage with Russia. But largely, we know that the Samarkand summit happens in the backdrop of conflicts like the Ukraine conflict, the Taiwan Strait crisis, and the increasing tiff between India and China since the Doklam crisis. We know the relationship has gone downwards. So there is a baggage when it comes to the summit taking place, but there will be outcomes. First, of course, expansion of the grouping with Iran becoming a member, and then, of course, the usage of local currency for trading, something that Russia desperately wants, even as we know that it has been removed from the SWIFT banking system, and it wants to create an alternative system which can challenge the West might. With video journalist Ajit, Siddhant Sibbal for WION in Samarkand, Uzbekistan.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.